This is Nick Williams, and we are here with the legend, Vanessa Marshall. I know I'm going to start off swinging strong.
Thank you. Bless you. Thank you.
And of course, Vanessa, you've kind of done all the different fandoms that I love. I mean, you're Hera Syndulla in Star Wars, you're Wonder Woman, you're Gamora, you're one of the gods.
Right. Yes. Blood of Zeus. Yes. That's currently on Netflix. Black Canary, Young Justice, Injustice 2, all that good stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just everything. It's wonderful. But just to kind of go back for a moment, I mean, acting is in your family, but when did you know that was what you wanted?
Well, I have always been a little anthropologist, and I love studying humans, human nature, evolution, culture, religion, theater, philosophy, all these things that make us tick. And part of storytelling, it happens in a theater. In ancient Greece, we saw that. There's in many culture, there's all kinds of historical examples of the value of theater, and then of course literature. Cut to later on, we have films, and now we have podcasts and all these wonderful things. But at the end of the day, I'm a fan of storytelling. And I know that I have the capacity to write stories. I have the capacity to read them out loud as different characters. And I love to facilitate that in any way, shape, or form. And that's really what drew me to it. I don't need to be in front of the camera. I just want to be a part of great storytelling in any capacity. So I come from the theater originally, um, but I just feel that there's something so profound and sacred about what entertainment can do to bring us together, no matter where we come from. And the healing properties are beyond measure as far as I'm concerned. And I love getting to meet all my friends who enjoy the same stories as I do. So um, yeah, that's how I knew that I was in the right place.
I mean, I mean, you found a lot of success in that, and I mean, you were everywhere. Like I didn't know for a while that exiting the Millennium Falcon at Galaxy's Edge was you, uh, but now I can't unhear it, and it's
Yeah,
wonderful.
it's so funny. Yeah, that is me indeed. Yeah.
Of course, as you can see, I'm also a massive Star Wars fan, like
Yes.
anything else, and of course, you are Harrison Dula. But even before that, you are a Star Wars fan,
Yes.
and
Yes,
and you grew up a Star
absolutely.
Wars fan. So, what was that for you growing up, and what did Star Wars mean for you?
Well, I'm an only child, and my mother has a sister and 2 brothers, and all of them live in Colorado. And sometimes my parents, as many parents look for something to do with their kids over the summer, sometimes they would just deposit me with my aunt and my cousins. And that particular summer, my aunt took us to see episode 1, and we had no idea what we were getting involved with, but I was blown away, transfixed, just this is all I wanted to think about. It's all I cared about. I wanted to emulate Princess Leia. Chewie was like my higher power. you know, like, I mean, they had me from the moment the Star Destroyer appeared. I was in, and it just captured my imagination, and I was inspired by it. And it has continued to mean everything to me as my life has progressed. At first I loved Princess Leia, but as each subsequent film came out, I came to identify with different characters at different phases of my life. And since when I went to college, I studied Joseph Campbell and myth and all these things, as I referred to just now, that I looked at sort of these heroic journeys, and they inspired me to do the right thing and be a better person, and look at my own behavior and choices and impact. And so it's just still to this day, I go back and I recently watched Rogue One again, and I just, man, when the Rebel Alliance comes at the end, it's just, there's something about that, like just when you give up all hope, that there's still the spark is still there, that there is goodness in the world, and that there will be people there to catch you. And that just means everything to me, and keeps me coming back for more. And luckily there's tons more content. I'm so excited.
Oh,
So
and of course, you brought Hera Syndulla to life
mhm.
in Star Wars Rebels, which has become so central to everything in Star Wars. Like so many things
Indeed.
point back to Rebels. I
Yeah,
mean, even Andor that just came out, is
yes.
has still pointing back to Rebels.
Well, I think we all started the journey, with mayhem on that ship and Princess Leia putting that information into R2D2, saying, "Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope." This is the backstory. Do you know, it literally boop, 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 leads up to that exact moment, the end of, Rogue One. I mean, we're right there, man. It's like, talk about coming full circle. It's just I get goosebumps, chills that oh, it all comes together. It's just so nice that we had episode 1, 2, 3. We have or sorry, we have 4, 5, 6. Then we get 1, 2, 3. Then we get the Clone Wars, and we really, really flesh out what happens and transpires and get such a rich sense of Anakin Skywalker and how he became, who he became and where Snips went. And I mean, I now rewatch those films, having been informed by that, and then we've got all the books that have come out. Thank goodness that Asajj Ventress lives. That's all I can say.
I know.
Tales of the Underworld. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I
I'll
mean,
never
especially
forget.
since like Dark Disciple had to become a book instead of part of
No,
the actual
no,
animation.
no.
No.
I had Dark no, dude, I had Dark Disciple by my bed, and I was like, "No, no, no." I could not accept it. I was like, "It's bad enough I lost Plo Koon in Order 66.
Yeah.
I can't swallow that one." I was just dying to see what would happen if Asajj ever met Snips or our whole crew. I feel like so many characters in Star Wars have broken hearts and they mend them in different ways and they utilize different tools to mend their broken hearts and heal their trauma. Obviously Darth Vader, abandonment issues, what have you. He sort of chose a pretty maudlin path there, but not everyone does. And some of the bounty hunters, some of those that fall down the middle and kind of go to the highest bidder, I wanna grab Asajj and bring her to our side, with all her animosity and grief with Dooku, like, "Come on, dude, do the right thing, like, come on over here, we've got pizza, we've got cookies, we've got" you know?
I mean, just to get to see her in the beginning of that with like her and Quinlan, like that
Oh,
moment. Oh, that broke
oh,
me right away.
100%, I was sobbing. Yes. Yeah, yeah,
And of course, Harrison Dula, Space Mom to everybody,
sure.
is such a widely loved character. Like my fiance, her favorite character is Hera,
Aw,
and relates to her
that's
like
so sweet.
yeah. And we she cosplays and like she gets more attention than I do. It's great. Um, everybody wants to
And
take a picture with Hera.
not to dox you, but you're on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, I'm LA
Okay.
area.
Right, that's what I thought. Well, one of these events we'll have to sort out seeing each other. I wanna see this cosplay.
Oh, that'd be
So
great. I'm actually I'm just completing my Kanan
oh,
cosplay, so
cool.
um,
Amazing,
yeah,
amazing.
and yeah, Sarah, she's like space, like Hera is like her person, and she wants her own chopper and everything. Um,
Aw, that's awesome. I love it.
and of course, Hera. One thing that I heard in a panel that you did is like how Princess Leia in the original trilogy is kind of like the linchpin where she's been on that journey and knows kind of her place in the galaxy and
Right.
kind of helps guide others to help find theirs. And Hera is a bit like that for the Rebels crew and the Phoenix Squadron. I mean, she still has her own journey, but she very much has like an idea of uh, how to help in the galaxy
Yes,
with that.
yes, yes. Yeah, very much so. I agree. I agree. And we're doing this Pod of Rebellion podcast on iHeart now. It's me, Taylor, and Tia, and then Freddie Prinze Jr.'s best friend, John Brody, who's kind of been with us this whole time anyway. He does podcasts with Freddie, and I wrangled him to come sort of moderate and keep us on track. And then he wrangled JC Reifenberg, the owner of Scum and Villainy, and he is just he's up there with Sam Witwer and Freddie Prinze Jr. in terms of like holocron knowledge. Um, but anyway, we just finished season one, and it's just been so wonderful to see exactly what you're describing with Hera, her sort of ever presence. I mean, she knows who Fulcrum is. The kids don't know. Even Kanan doesn't know. But it's really vital to see what a crucial role she played, with such discipline and humility and grace. And yeah, I don't know if I'm going to survive the fourth season, though.
Yeah, I
I mean,
mean, yeah,
dude, I don't
Jedi
know,
Knight
buddy.
is yeah,
Well, I
that's
don't know. I don't
yeah.
know. I'm going to be like, I'll be off camera for that one.
I mean, I started Pod of the Rebellion, and it's so great to hear you all talking about it, and especially like Taylor going through this really kind of for the first time. Um,
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I mean, if you
yeah,
think about it, the evolution, we can talk about what it was like to read it on the page, what it was like to see it back then, not knowing exactly where it was going. And then now, after knowing precisely where it ends, going back and re-experiencing and walking through the page to the screen to the full sense of where we land. And, not to mention the little memories along the way of like Jason Isaacs playing putt-putt golf during his fight scene with Freddie. And we all were like, uh-oh, like, is Freddie going to kill this guy for real though? I mean, no, he wasn't at all, but Jason was very playful and maniacal, and we all were like, "Uh-oh, daddy could blow. What are we doing?" But anyway, like little things like that where we just sort of laugh and like, how could we have been there for that long and we never found the golf kit that was in the closet? Like, what a genius.
and
Yeah.
I think that's one of the great things about Rebels is that you all got to record that as an ensemble and
Yes.
be in the same
Yes.
room together, and not only develop like Star Wars is so much about found family, to
Yes.
still develop
Yes.
that in person as you're developing the show.
Yeah. And I must say, to be near Sam Witwer, Sam's acting when he's sort of trying to not corrupt, well, I would say corrupt Ezra, but he would say save Ezra, but um I was terrified. It reminded me the first time I met the 501st at WonderCon, and I was in their group photo and they put me next to Darth Vader, and just his breathing, I thought I was going to crawl out of my skin. Sam has the same ability as Darth Maul to just rattle me to my core of just like feeling patently unsafe and 100% skeeved out. And yet he's the nicest man on earth. But we were able to experience that real kinetic energy in real time. And the stakes were so evident, when Ezra's like, well, he makes a good point. And Freddie's like, no, you know, there was a real battle going on. And I just sort of watched this ping pong, Freddie was here, Taylor was here, Sam, and I was somewhere on the outskirts of this watching this sort of battle for Ezra's mind and soul. And yeah, it was riveting to be near.
I mean, I can only imagine being in that room.
Yeah.
So going on Hera's journey, when it came to recording, especially for Rebels, did you have a favorite Hera kind of story arc or story that Hera was a
Well,
part of?
yes, actually, I would say my favorite episode is the B-Wing episode, Wings of the Master. I've shared this before. My dad was in the Air Force and he's a pilot. And, professionally, my dad was a journalist, a news reporter for KNBC locally here in Los Angeles. And in the Air Force, he worked for the radio station to sort of help people who were stationed there stay in touch with what they needed. And when he came home, because he was a journalism major, he got a job at NBC. And when he retired, I dared him to get a pilot's license. And not only did he get a pilot's license, but he got an open cockpit biplane aerobatic pilot license. So he bested me with that, and he's like, "Here's your parachute. We're going up." And I was like, "Wait,
Wow.
what? Hold on, dad, wait." So, and he cut the engine. I thought he had a heart attack and died. I was like, "Do I have to land this thing?" And all I could hear was the wind blowing on the wires of this biplane, like, and I was terrified. And then, of course, if you cut the engine, the plane starts descending. And then when it starts descending, that's when you put the engine back on. And he did these hammerhead shark maneuvers, and he's laughing and laughing and laughing. And so I kind of felt like my dad became his own Han Solo, if you will, or
Yeah.
something. But he also always talked about the value of perspective, the value of staying in the moment and being present. And when you're a pilot, there's no room for error, and that level of attention to detail saves lives, and it is a duty and a responsibility, and he taught me that as well. So there was sort of a spiritual component of flight and its value in his life, and seeing the world from above and understanding our place within it, how tiny and yet integral. And so, when Hera basically says exactly that, I felt very connected to my father, and I dedicated that to him. And it was so sweet to be able to share that with him and feel closer to him and let him know that I heard him and that it meant the world to me. And so that's kind of a special episode. I also, when Hera and her father, when she's with Chom and she sort of gets into it with him and starts speaking in a Ryloth accent, that was a fun moment as well. We had done the scene many times, and previous to that, Dave Filoni had asked me if I thought I would ever um, speak with a Ryloth accent. I said only Hera would only do that if she was furious, because it's a
Yeah.
choice for her to switch to sort of a neutral accent so that no one knows who she is, where she comes from, etc. And for her to be unable to erase her history, to be without affectation, it would take something that would just make her lose her mind. And what better than a father whose idea of revolution is so much different than hers? She has a more nuanced. He's much more straight down the middle into attacking, and she's more nuanced about saving lives and harming the least amount of people if possible, etc. And so when she's endeavoring to articulate that, Dave said, "Remember that text? Go do that." I knew exactly what he meant. And being the Clone Wars nerd ball that I am, I know exactly what a Ryloth accent sounds like. And, um, I love me some Chom Syndulla. So I was right there with the Ryloth accent to kind of go at him in that heated exchange. And, again, when we leave the studio, we've done a million takes. We have no idea what they're going to cobble and string together as a performance,
Right.
because they can take bits and pieces from different moments. And so when they indeed chose that, I thought, "Oh, that's heavy." That was it was fun to play around with that. Equally, I'll say, when I was in the Bad Batch and we went back to see what was Hera like as a teenager, it was fun to sort out just how much of that Ryloth accent had already been erased by that point, or how thick was it? How much confidence did she have back then? How precocious was she? Is it more interesting if Hera starts as like a very shy, timid person, and it sort of evolves into this incredible pilot, fighter, principled matriarch figure, or has she always been like that? So it was fun to kind of dial in the amount of accent, the amount of moxie, the amount of well, for lack of a better term, chutzpah, if you will.
Yeah.
So that was also delightful to explore her growth as an individual in the galaxy.
I feel
So
like there's still so much more we can explore with Hera. Like, it was so great with the Bad Batch getting to see more of where Hera came from, because again, like,
yes,
she was more developed in Rebels, but there's still so much that Hera does
yes,
during
yes.
the events of Rebels. I mean, you're in books. I mean, you were in Forces of Destiny, like arguing with Han.
Oh, that's right. I know. Well, it's funny because as a Star Wars fan, I go with Millennium Falcon every time.
Hmm.
So it's funny that they were kind of about it, and a lot of people assume that I'm going to say the Ghost. I'm old school, you know. I love me some Millennium Falcon. I just do. So yeah, I was a little confused in Solo, the movie, you know, when he did some trigonometry to like split the parsecs or cheat and go around the other side. I was like, wait a minute, this whole time we've been bragging about how incredible you are as a pilot. Like, wait, are you still incredible or what do you mean? You know, to they whatever they did to sort of outsmart the situation. I was like,
Mm.
I don't know, the trigonometry there, I got a little confused for a minute, but I'm a fan of the Falcon. I
I
just
mean,
am.
Hera did outmaneuver Darth Vader, so I
There's
mean,
that.
there is
Yeah,
that.
there's
Yeah, I
that.
mean, Han Solo's
Yeah,
done a lot, but uh,
that's
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that's that. Yeah, that's a one up on Han, I would say.
100%.
I have to talk about because Hera and Kanan, that relationship. Star Wars is not known for great relationships.
Right.
Overall, George Lucas didn't seem to like them too much. Um,
Apparently, yeah.
but Hera and Kanan to me is one of the best relationships in Star Wars, and their
Mm,
dynamic together. And of course, like obviously, like it's season 4 is heartbreaking,
sure.
but how do you feel towards the Hera and Kanan relationship?
Well, on the one hand, I admire Hera's dedication, her ability to focus on the task at hand as opposed to, let's just say, the petty indulgences of romance and desire. Now, she has an affection for him. She cares about him clearly, as she has a familial love for everyone in the crew. But she would not allow herself to be distracted by that. And, you know, as we come to find out, when he makes the sacrifice and, you know, she says, I thought I had more time. For me, that is a valuable lesson, that we are never guaranteed time. And I think in this world, all of us work and work and work and work. And I have many people and things that I say, well, when I get time, I'll do that. When I get time, I'll do that. And so for me personally, I learned a lot watching her grieve through the regret of not having enough time. Recently, my best friend passed away
I'm
suddenly
sorry.
of a heart attack. Yeah, it was awful. And a similar situation. I mean, we both worked and worked and worked. And her daughter just graduated from high school, and we were supposed to travel and travel and travel together. And, you know, her father passed the same way, just a sudden heart attack out of nowhere. And, you know, what I take from that, obviously, Kanan chose to sacrifice himself. And my friend, you know, succumbed to her biology or whatever the correct tense of the verb is. Um, but the bottom line, the lesson is the same that I just never want to take anything for granted. And I learned a lot from the success of their relationship. Obviously, they created Jason. I'm glad that they took the time to do that. But I have a heartfelt a sort of level of grief for her regret, and I understand it. And I'm grateful that Dave fleshed that out, and we were able to show through the second half of that season, following that act, that the chosen family was there for each other and became stronger and even closer. And I feel that that is an important, valuable lesson. It's important to celebrate people when they're here, and it's also important to grieve as anyone needs to. Everyone's grief looks different, but it's a very real part of life, and how chosen family can really help in those darker moments, in our various rites of passage. And so anyway, that was a value to me as well. So watching their relationship as it unfolded, the sacrifices that were made, the ultimate sacrifice he made, and then sort of the aftermath, and that has helped me through situations in my own life where even today I'm obviously still grieving the loss of my ride or die friend, you know. So anyway, I say we're in the get to wake up club. I got to wake up today. I'm grateful that I get to do this interview. I'm grateful that I get to, you know, just have another beautiful day here on the planet celebrating what I love, and sometimes it's just that simple. So, their relationship embodies all that, and I treasure it.
I mean, I think that's why Star Wars means so much to so many. It's not the lightsaber battles; it's the human aspect and the emotion and what people go through and how we can relate to each other.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's helped me growing up, and I've related to it in so many different ways, like you said,
Yeah,
and it will continue to do so for
absolutely.
generations to come. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
While I have you, so Rebels not only expanded, relationships when it comes to that, but also it really dove also into lore, which I find
Yes.
very interesting. Is there a particular lore that was kind of accentuated in or expanded on in Rebels that you, particularly as a Star Wars fan, really latched onto?
Oh, the world between worlds was bananas. Yeah. The world between worlds was crazy. I also love that the Loth wolves or whatever the wolves were given, like, whew, featured. I mean, I loved that. It was fun. We went up to Skywalker Ranch at one point, and there's one scene where, there are wolves. I think, Ezra does something with the wolves. I can't remember exactly, but he put the footage to a Bjork song, and, it was so delicious. I'm a huge fan of wolves, so that whole segment in that episode, when we work with nature, great things are possible, and I think that that really occurred. But anyway, to hear the different voices that were in the world between worlds and, see sort of the lessons in that very neutral space that is a space but not a space, that kind of stuff. I love pondering those things, truly. So that I thought was incredible. Yeah, I mean, um, the mural that's in, I think it's season 4, that's also a great mural with the rebels. I think they ultimately made
Yeah,
a
my shirt
poster out
has
of.
some of that.
Well, there you go,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's just it was really rich with a lot of stuff. Do you have a portion of lore that sticks out
I
for
mean,
you?
World Between Worlds is great. Bendu
Mhm.
always comes up for me in
Oh,
talking that
yeah.
because Bendu is
Yeah,
so confusing to people because
very.
there's so much debate that happens there, and I know Dave is always trying to keep it mystical and
Sure.
not trying to explain everything because he wants fans to have those
Yeah,
debates. But that
yeah,
whole idea of like being I am in the middle, like, well, what does that mean? But
yeah.
I think the gradual outcome of like needing to choose sides and choose your place in the world and not just let everything fly by, I think is kind of the ultimate
Yes.
lesson in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, Bendu, yeah, that's a whole other really cool thing. Yeah, I just it goes on, it's just
It does.
endless. I'm
Yeah.
so grateful, honestly, and there's so much more fun stuff to come. It's just life is good, man. It really is. I mean, believe me, it's completely bizarre. I don't know half the time what is actually going on in the world, but at the same time, I'm savoring every episode of Andor for that reason because it's this just wonderfully safe place, that I just retreat to and I don't want it to end. Yeah,
I know,
but
yeah, like, it makes me every time I go back, I have to, like, dive in and go through the whole story of everything and just let myself kinda get carried away
yeah,
be in that. Yeah.
yeah. Thank God. Thank God we have Star Wars.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm appreciative. I mean, that's my whole
yeah.
geekdom, Thank you so much for joining
Yes,
me and talking with me. I appreciate
yeah.
you and your time.
Absolutely, and there'll be fun stuff next year, so if we can circle back around in 2026, I think it'll be even more fun. I just wanted to say for the Pod of Rebellion podcast, if anyone hasn't checked it out yet, it's Pod of Rebellion, on all socials. You can come follow us and stay in touch, but also if you want to send any questions in, Pod of Rebellion podcast at gmail.com. feel free to write in questions, send us your cosplay, any fan theories, and come join the party. Catch up with us, and we're taking flight. We're having some really, really special guests coming up. I'm so, so, so excited. And most of us are huge sports fans, so we're trying to find different people, sports figures who are total Star Wars nerds, and have them come on and talk about sort of what Star Wars means to them. So um, really the sky is the limit. So, but thank you for letting me share that
Oh,
here.
of
But
course.
but also I look forward to coming back when there's some really big news. So
Yes,
yeah,
please.
thank you.
Yes, we will talk when that happens because I can't wait to hear
Excellent,
it.
excellent.
Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Vanessa.
Thank you so much.